to another episode of Exploring the Arts. Thank you so much for joining me and for supporting the arts as well, and just sharing information and education about it. So in my last video we did a tutorial with one of my favorite mediums, which is acrylic paint, and yeah, we'll be covering a lot more of those going on later down the line with different mediums. Don't worry, it won't all be acrylic. In this episode we're going to talk about titling and archiving artwork, which is very important if you're just starting out, and something that you should definitely do like now before you have like thousands of artwork that you have to backtrack on. And trust me, that is like so time consuming, and it's just so much better to do it in the moment. So archiving your artwork means photographing it, giving it a title if you want to give it a title, writing what year it was made, the medium, also including where you've showcased it before, and if it's a sold artwork, where it was sold and who it was sold to, if you have that information. Some galleries don't give you that information of the person who your artwork was sold to, but if you sold to them directly, I'm sure you have that. And the importance of doing it all is just so you can keep track of everything. Like, the worst thing is to have a ton of artwork, not knowing where it is, who has it, where it was showcased, where it wasn't showcased, and just like going off the top of your head prices, you know? And also just so you can be consistent with it as well. I'm sure if I was someone who was inquiring about an artwork, I got one price, and then someone else inquired about the artwork and I met them and they told me another price, as the person purchasing from me, I'd probably be a little upset, you know? So it's just really good to keep record of it all and keep track of it. Another important part of archiving your artwork, to have a record of where you showcased it. And the importance of that is also a little bit of a business background to it, where you can understand which pieces caught people's attention at what show. So let's say hypothetically you did one show and you showcase a certain type of artwork there of yours, because when you do set up your artwork at our show, then you're going to want to kind of tell a little bit of a story with your pieces, so you're most likely going to select specific pieces, right? So when you're at these shows and you put up a specific story, I'm going to call it, it may or may not do well. And if you have a record of those pieces being showcased at a certain show with a certain type of audience, because every show has a different type of audience, and it didn't do so well, then you can go ahead and test out a different type of artwork, that tells a different story, and showcase those next time, and you'll see if those give you a better result at the end of the day. And that's just like another important part of archiving, because you could keep track of all of that. You could keep track of which, if you did really well, where an artwork was sold, what type of artwork it was that you made that was sold there, and to tell like what kind of audience is at that art show or at that art fair, so that you know next time what to bring with you. A huge importance to archiving your artwork is consistency. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're naming one price for the artwork and then you're giving another person another price for the artwork, that's not gonna be, you're not gonna have very happy people. I'll tell you that right off the back. Especially if they know each other. So having a record of your artwork, the prices, is going to help a lot, so that you're not just going off the top of your head and thinking of a number. You actually have something that is strategically laid out and makes sense to you as the artist, as the value of your artwork, and also makes sense to the people that are purchasing your artwork, because there are going to be people that come up to you and say, well, why does this cost $100 but this costs $1,000, and they're the same medium, or either they're the same size? And you can explain to them, oh, the amount of time that was put into it, something that you did that was different, and also it's just like when you're laying out your artwork, you can say like, okay, $100 pieces are X, Y, and Z, $1,000 pieces are X, Y, and Z. So it gives you kind of like this price bracket of the categories of your artwork, which is going to help you in the long run. And also having titles, this is going to help you as well to keep track of everything. And also it tells a story of your pieces. I mean, you don't have to. There's a lot of artists that title the artwork as untitled, but then once you get to like untitled 20, then, you know, it might get a little confusing. But also too, if you give your artwork a title, it kind of too allows the audience to get a better understanding of the piece, makes them be able to connect with it a little bit better. Also, archiving artwork allows you to write the year that you had created the piece, because a lot of times people want to know when it was made, you know. And also too, it also helps out with the longevity of the piece. So, you know, for example, a Picasso piece, you know what I mean, it's been around for years, and over a certain period of time the paint will start to varnish and deteriorate, just like anything in the world. Nothing lasts 100% forever. So giving it a year allows for the buyer to understand, okay, after a certain amount of time I might need to bring this piece back to the artist if they're alive, or a specialist to get the artwork touched up, because it's been so many years since they've had it in their possession. Another reason why it's very important to archive your artwork is so that you can have photographic record of it. So for me personally, I do a spreadsheet of all my artwork. I'll have a photo, I'll have all the categories that I had mentioned earlier, and that's my way of keeping record of it. And I have a separate folder of the photographed images of the artwork. And the reason why I have that is so that if anything, I can always make prints of it, you know? And that's the beauty of it. If it's a piece that you might not want to sell, you can always make prints. Or if it is a piece that you have sold, and then later on down the line, if you have not told the person who purchased it, the buyer, that this is like the one and only and that's it, then you can make prints of it. And I strongly agree that you abide by your own rules. If you're going to sell something to somebody and you're going to make it the only thing, then, you know, let it be known to them. If you're going to sell it and you might hypothetically make prints of it later on down the line, then yes, you might want to tell them that as well, because prints tend to devalue the original. It's not always the case, but sometimes that is an instant. And lastly, the most important thing is legal reasons. So when you create a piece of artwork, you really wouldn't have to go and copyright it, essentially. But it is important to have a record of it in case somebody is out there trying to claim it as their own. And if you have a photographic record of it, then you would obviously have a date attached to it. And that is your proof that it is yours. That is a proof to say that you made it this year, and that the person who's claiming to say that it's theirs, that they've made it a year or two, or maybe even years later on down the line, which is after yours, which means that you are the rightful owner of it. And also too, again, the whole matter of giving credit where credit is due. So if you sell a piece of artwork and someone later on down the line says, oh, no, this isn't your artwork, you know, because it's been handed down from one person to another person to another person, because sometimes that does happen with artwork. No, then you can say, no, it is mine. Like, this is my signature, this is my style, and here's a photographic proof that this is my artwork. So there's a little bit of a legal background to archiving your artwork. And just giving it a title just adds on to the whole idea of being able to keep track of it a little bit better. And for me personally, I love giving it a title because it's fun and it gives a little bit more of an insight into the artwork. And yes, definitely go ahead and start right now if you are an emerging artist with archiving your stuff, because it is going to help you in the long run. I was one of the ones who did not archive my stuff from the very beginning, and I had to like backtrack so much artwork, finding photos of them if they were already sold, so on and so forth. So definitely get started on it right now. And if you are an established artist and you haven't started, what are you waiting for? Get to it. Definitely do it right away. It's going to save you a lot of time later on down the line, and a lot of questions later on down the line as well. And if you come across any legal issues, it's going to help you out as well. So if you found this video informative, please definitely give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.